about the developer lifestyle, the developer life, and the craft, and sharing and supporting each other through the process of making and managing Roblox games, which is very fun. And we also know can be extremely demanding and sometimes painful. And so we're going to go and talk to Sam here for a bit, and then we'll take questions as we always do. And we'll talk more about that when it's time for questions. But for now, let me introduce a man who I've known for many years, Chicago, Illinois. Did you go to Highland Park High School for a few years? Remind me.
Didn't go to Highland Park High School. No, I moved right before.
You didn't go to
right
Highland Park. Okay, sorry.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Fine.
Parents did.
Well, I won't. Okay, your parents went to Highland Park High School. Okay, see, yeah. I knew there was a Highland Park High School connection. Okay, Sam's parents and I went to the same high school, arguably one of the better public schools in the good old USA. And I've known Sam for a few years. He's a great developer. He's a guitar player. He's very tall. And he is now kind of executive producing, general managing on ERLC. Is that accurate, Sam?
Yeah, kind of getting my feet wet in a lot on ERLC. Well, technical stuff, production stuff,
All right, fantastic. ERLC, we all know ERLC. Game's been with us for many years. So, Sam, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us today. I think everyone's excited to hear from you and hear about what's going on with this beloved franchise, where it's going, what you're seeing in the data of running a multi-year franchise on Roblox. But first, tell me a little bit about how you came up on Roblox. Give us your kind of point A to point B to point C story, starting with your humble roots in good old Chicago, Illinois.
Oh yeah. No, thanks for having me. But no, I started in 2016, so I was like between 11 and 12 years old, and played those army clan groups. I know anyone who's been on the platform for long enough remembers when those were big, and wanted to make my own. I did like some like Minecraft stuff before that. Yeah, the British Army stuff. Yeah, exactly. And wanted to make my own, and got my feet wet in like programming and building and the modeling and everything, all that stuff. And I think programming was something that just clicked instantly. And so the clan groups kind of went out the window, and coding just kind of took over as like my biggest hobby. So between 2016 and 2019 was just toying around, doing whatever. And then in 2019,
what kind of games did you make? What kind of games were you making back in those?
I wasn't necessarily making games. It was just anything that I took particular interest in, I decided to deep dive into, and yeah, the coding was really the main thing. And in 2019,
what were you coding up? What were you? What?
So if I wanted like a quick $50 or something, I'd look for a cool commission. And I like to get into anti-cheat stuff. So that was kind of, I think, the first passion project was anti-cheats. And so
I mean, what a destiny was calling you, because I feel like anti-cheat is probably pretty important in your day.
Well, I mean, especially way back, even like 4 years ago, cheating was much more, the presence of cheaters on the platform was much larger. And so yeah, and it was kind of a free for all for each game to try and get your anti-cheat in check. No one really knew how to do it, and Roblox wasn't doing much at the time to curb it at all. So yeah, anti-cheats were a lot of fun. Started doing anti-cheats for a couple of like first-person shooters. I think one went front page for a while, and then ERLC in 2019. So that was how I got started with ERLC.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know your roots with ERLC went back 7
years.
Way
back.
That's
way back.
Wait, how old is ERLC? I don't.
ERLC is ERLC is going on almost like a decade, 2018, because it started off as an incubator project.
Wow. It is. Is ERLC like, if it's not in the number one most successful incubator project, it's got to be up there. What are the other greatest hits, guys? What are the other incubator greatest hits? I didn't even know ERLC was an incubator project. That's amazing. Jailbreak was incubator. I didn't know that. That's a greatest hit for sure. What else we got? Grow a Garden. That was incubator. Really? Adrian was in the incubator. That one doesn't ring true. That doesn't. Oh. Okay. All right, you bunch of jokers. Let's get back.
The Maximilian game, I think, was an incubator project.
Oh yeah. Well, Frontlines. Yeah, Frontlines. That game. Yeah. That game's amazing. Okay, so 2019, you became involved with ERLC, and you were probably, I'm guessing, in high school in 2019.
Yeah, high school.
Okay. All right. So then you started working for ERLC, and what came next?
So doing the anti-cheat stuff for ERLC, and then I fell out of Roblox completely for about a year. Just kind of did other things. Fast forward to, I think this would be 2020, late 2021. I got back into Roblox and kind of had like a very fresh, I guess, mindset, which is really nice. The platform had changed a lot, and I wanted to try and find like a cool job. And so I saved my LinkedIn page as a PDF. I had like typed out my LinkedIn page, whatever, and I saved it as a PDF, and I emailed it to you, or emailed it to GameFam.
Wow.
And I interviewed the next day. If you remember, Mikhail.
With who? Who did you interview with? Do you remember who you interviewed with? With Mikhail.
Mikhail, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Mikhail's the best. Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's cool. Okay. So you joined GameFam in 2021. I don't remember everyone who. I remember you. I don't remember when everyone joined along the way, though. We were hiring way too many people back in those days. But you stuck. So what did you work on at GameFam? What projects did you come across?
The first one was Ultra Power Tycoon. Do you remember that?
Ultra Power Tycoon is such a good game. And you did a great job on it. And I remember very clearly now working with you on that project. And I think we updated the UI so that players could see which powers they hadn't unlocked yet. And we made some other monetization changes. And that game was super fun. I feel like that game would do really well now if somebody updated it, because like that is like such the meta of Roblox now, is like kind of these like progressive and then lose everything and then build it again. So yeah, I do remember. Okay, Ultra Power Tycoon.
That game was cool. It was cool. It was like I thought it was. You had a term for it. You called it a special flower. That's what you called it.
Special flower. It was a special flower. Yeah.
Because it was
a very odd game. At the time, it was very odd.
It was a weird game. It was a weird game, but it did so well. It was perfect. And
all right, let me tell everyone what it was. Let me tell everyone what you did in Ultra Power Tycoon, because you're going to say, "Oh, wow, this sounds a lot like Roblox today." Okay. Now this was 2021, and the game, I don't know, I think the game peaked to probably like 5,000 or 6,000 CCUs. And it was, this was earlier on in GameFam before Sonic. So this was, we were still building our portfolio, and I liked it. I liked the game. And what you did, you come in the game and you picked a power. I think they were like maybe loosely based on anime powers, but it wasn't an anime game. And it was like, okay, you could have like whatever wood power or like water power. And then you did a button tycoon to build out your base. As you built the base, you unlocked more powers that went into your backpack at the bottom of the screen. And that you'd push 1, 2, 3, 4, tap on your mobile phone to use those powers. And you could go into the arena. There were like 8 bases on a server, and you just walk into the middle of the bases and you would just fight with people. And then when you died and left the server, you lost all your progress. Not when you died, when you left. When you left, you lost all your progress, and you come back and you build again and you fight till you're done. It had amazing session length because people would stay in because they wanted to unlock all the powers because they knew they wouldn't get them again. I think we eventually charged people to save, is my recollection.
No, we did No, we did rebirths. You could rebirth.
Oh, we did rebirths to say. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, what else did you work on? Give us some of the other highlights. Yeah.
I think Ultra Power Tycoon It peaked way higher than 6,000. It was like a 30. That was like definitely a 30,000 CCU game.
Was it really?
25, 30,000 CCUs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take it.
yeah.
25,000, 30,000 CCs. Nice work.
What else?
And you crushed it.
Yeah, it was a cool game.
Okay.
What else? We did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, which is fun. We did
Rock solid product. I don't know why it didn't do better. Absolutely rock solid product.
We also did the. Do you remember the trailer? You remember the trailer game?
The trailer. What was it a trailer for?
It was
the
the
TMNT
game.
trailer game. Oh yes, of course, yes. That was awesome. Yeah.
That was very cool. That was very cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
I wish I got to do more stuff like that. So we did this trailer. We did like a 10-minute playable story game for TMNT with like half cutscenes, half playable. You can look it up on YouTube. And it was to launch the TMNT TV show. I can't remember the name of the TV show now, but it was to launch the TMNT TV show at the time on Nickelodeon. We made this 10-minute long playable experience. It was really good. It's not what Roblox wants, but it was really good, and it was a lot of fun to creative direct it. So tell me a little bit about how you like built your skills. Like obviously you've developed. You started with anti-cheat. You've done a lot of front end. You've done back end. Where do you feel like you learned the most, and how did you pursue a learning agenda over the course of your career as a programmer and product leader?
It's not, and I'm sure most others are like this, but it's not. It's not very structured. It's not like I have a structured learning process or something like that, or doing courses, whatever. I think it was more so taking you take every opportunity that comes your way. You take an interest in everything. You deep dive into anything that you can deep dive into, and I think most of the learning kind of just comes naturally. And it
learn by doing. I mean,
right.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, you tend to learn you tend to learn a lot just by, like you said, by doing. And especially as when you're a teenager with no money, you tend to strap your boots and do whatever you have to. And so yeah, definitely, definitely just doing a lot of little odd stuff here and there and picking up the skills along the way.
So what about learning from other people and collaborating with people? Because I think you've been really good at building relationships in your career. Like, look at us. Like, we worked together years ago. I worked with a lot of people over the years. I don't necessarily maintain, connections with all of them. I remember we went out to lunch, when we were in Chicago, those connections are great. I think you really value getting to know people and collaborating with people who are passionate about Roblox and about games. Is that accurate to say about you?
Yeah, I mean, you want to be just a stand-up guy, a stand-up person, and you keep your connections with everyone. And they always tend to, I know, like, it kind of sounds cliche, like, oh, you want to networking is key, whatever. But I mean, just making connections with everyone you meet and kind of keeping in touch tends to be very, very helpful over time. Especially now when if we have a problem on our game, we can reach out to another developer in the genre or whatever. I see Kronos is here. I'll send Kronos a message. I'll say, hey, dude, you having this problem or whatever, and we'll kind of figure that out. And so just keeping those connections, if we need a builder or whatever, and I know someone from way back that we can reach out to. Those things tend to be much more helpful than I think I ever thought they would be.
Yeah. I think that one of my favorite things about being in the Roblox community and about being in the gaming business is those friendships that you make along the way. And being a stand-up guy, you guys know how passionate I am about treating people, about being an honest person, about when you commit to something, following through on those things, and being, a person of high integrity. And I think Sam, shares a lot of those qualities, and I think that's one of the reasons we've connected really well. So tell me about, how did you get onto ERLC? What you left GameFam to go? Remind me why you left GameFam, or not why. Don't tell us why. I'm sure it was. Where did you go next? and what motivated you to move on to the next chapter in your career?
I mean, first off, it kind of comes full circle back to the connections thing, which is in 2019, started doing the ERLC thing, doing the anti-cheat stuff. I had a buddy that I have a buddy that I worked with on the anti-cheat stuff, and he kept on with the ERLC after I had kind of fell out of it. We'd remained super close friends, and he was like, "Hey, we need someone else on the game, and you want to do it?" And I said absolutely. So came back to ERLC. The reason I think I did it to begin with is because there's a ERLC is definitely an interesting game. I don't know if there are many games quite like it, in the sense that we have a community that the game's been around for almost a decade, and we have a community of people that have not only are new, but we have a lot of people that have been around with the game since the very early stages, and people who are incredibly passionate. It's an emergency responders game primarily, so. You join and you can role play as a police officer, a firefighter, an EMT, and so a lot of our team is made up of firefighters, police officers, EMTs, whatever, off duty or sometimes on duty, sitting around waiting for a call, who are helping out and making sure that everything is accurate, and making sure that we have a good experience for people like them to play in, or people who aspire to become police officers or whatever. So it's a very passionate game, and it's a lot of fun being able to work on something that you're excited about. You have a massive community of people rallying together who are also just as excited as you are, if not much more excited.
Yeah, I hear that. I think that is that is one of the reasons I wanted to be a Roblox developer when I started on the platform in 2016, already, halfway through a professional career, essentially, was the level of passion and excitement that Roblox players have for Roblox. I wanted to be part of that. And I think ERLC is one of the games that most embodies that. And I remember it used to be a paid game, and then it went free, and it was like one of the biggest paid games for a long time. Then it went free to play. And I guess tell us about how long have you been back on ERLC now as a developer?
So two things. I've been there for 2 years, 2.5 now, back full time. Prior to that, though, it was a paid access game. Before that, it was a group only game. So back in 2018, there were still a lot of those clan games, right? Where you join the group and you get promoted within the group and you play with other members of the group, whatever. That's how ERLC started off. And then there weren't enough civilians to play because it was all police officers, whatever. So it became open access. I believe this is how it went. It became open access, and then too many people were joining, so it became paid access to allow the game to take shape. And the game absolutely blew up and really kind of outgrew what it was meant to be, which kind of became a challenge. But the game was originally designed to just be a group game, and it evolved into something much larger. But we can circle back on that because I have some cool points to make.
All right. Well, here, tell us about this and work the points in as you go. I know we all want to hear them. What was the state of the game, and what were the key challenges and opportunities 2 years ago when you started on ERLC as a full-time developer?
Yeah, so it's an old game, and there are a lot of challenges with working on an old game. I would say on top of that, a game that outgrew what it was supposed to be. So you have after 10 years, you have a lot of legacy code, and you have a lot of systems that aren't. You have a lot of disparity among certain features. You have features that were added, a month ago, and you have features that were added 5 years ago that don't quite fit together gracefully.
Okay.
So,
like, give us an example. Can I ask for an example of like some of the features that have been the biggest challenge for you as a developer?
yeah, I mean, so we have a lot of. I think the biggest challenge would probably be our private server system. So ERLC is kind of formed around our private servers. So if you were a player who was interested in the game, you join and you play in a public server for a while. You kind of get the ropes, whatever. Eventually, you move on to private servers, or you make your own, where you can. It's proprietary. We don't do it through Roblox. You can join and you can view a list of all of the private servers, very similar to like. Have you played 5M?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played 5M, but I have like looked around on 5M, and So where do you find this list of servers if it's not on Roblox though? On a website?
It's on. I mean, you can find them
Oh, it's
online,
on Roblox. Okay.
but you
I
can
see.
view them in game. Yeah, so you can view a list of the private servers, and you can see how many players are in them. Everyone gets to make their own, or everyone can make their own. You can see how many players are in them. You can see like the description, and everyone makes their own logos. And then we allow you to, for example, like we can do like I could do like Highland Park, right? And so I'll name my server Highland Park, and I'll write my description, whatever. I can set up my server however I want. I can set the season in the server. I can place down props to make it my own, whatever. And then I can go and I can design my cars. So I can go and recreate the Highland Park police cars in my game, in my server, and then I can promote it. So I can, we allow servers to sponsor their servers to promote them, and then they'll show up on billboards and bus stops in the game, and players can click on them to join.
So players are able to like basically create their own UGC
right, exactly
in this game.
Yeah.
And so they have like their own dev place. Like, how does this work? Just give us the high level of how this works technically. Cause I think I guess the reason I'm so interested in this, guys, is like ERLC has kind of transcended being a Roblox game in some ways. It's kind of like almost pointed to the future of like what Roblox games can be. And that like, it's got this like multi-year audience that keeps coming back. It's kind of the closest thing Roblox has to GTA Online. I think the 5M comparison makes a lot of sense, but Roblox isn't really built for people to create their own like shards of existing Roblox games, really. I mean, that seems fair to say.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we have, there's a lot of architecture that is off Roblox that we use to keep it all running. But yeah, the private servers are very cool. It's they're sub communities within our big community. And they all they have their own Discord servers with 20,000, 30,000 members. And it's very cool. You have an owner, and they hire their staff, and they manage their rules, and they moderate themselves. And so it's like a self-sustaining community within our game. And really what we do is kind of just empower them to be able to customize their server and make it whatever they want to be. We also have an API that they can use. So they can write their own websites and Discord bots and all that can interact directly with the game. So they can set up moderation bots and all those things. So yeah, it's
so
very cool.
What percentage of players are like? I mean, out of curiosity, and then I want to ask a couple more questions about your role and how you've evolved your role, and then we want to make sure we have time to take questions from the Tank Talk community today. But what What percentage of players are like new players coming into the community, and what percentage is like the hardcore community that's been with the game for years and years?
It's a pretty even split. It's a pretty even split. I would say what kind of happens is the players join and they're very involved in kind of the main community.
Mhm.
In ERLC, or they'll be prominent in our main Discord, whatever. And then they kind of branch off into private servers, and they're very active within those sub communities.
Mhm.
So it's not like we see them around all the time, talking
Okay.
in our Discord server or contributing whatever. But they're very active, in their own sub communities. And so, yeah, I would say it's a pretty even split. But we have a lot of players who have been around for a very, very, very long time.
So cool. So you started as a programmer, and now you're kind of one of the leaders or co-leaders of the entire product and the roadmap to some extent. Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me about like when you started on ERLC, do you think you would have been ready to do that? And what kind of along the way has given you the confidence to say, "Hey, I can run or be one of the people really running this whole
Yeah.
shebang, this complicated spider's web of new players and casual players and hardcore servers." It's a lot of business and product, I feel like, for you.
Sorry, what was that? You lagged out for a few seconds.
Yeah, I said I think it's a lot of both product leadership, but also a lot of business and community management thinking that you have to do in this role.
Yeah, I mean, so firstly, as far as like a lot of the production goes, I think the time at GameFam prepped me for a lot of that. I think
Oh,
I
all
did a
right.
lot. I like to bite off a lot more than I can chew sometimes. And so at GameFam, I found myself doing a lot of production stuff. Um, and so I can't remember who the producer was,
Well,
but
you
even
worked
on
with
Ultra.
Mikhail. You worked with Mikhail a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I worked with Mikhail after
Yeah.
the first the first game. I did. I worked with Mikhail a lot, but yeah, I mean, being able to shadow a producer and
Mhm,
seeing what they
mhm.
do, um, and doing some of it yourself, getting getting the ropes on how kind of running the team works, and um, the meetings where the live ops meetings. Remember those?
Yeah. Yep. I just
You
came out
go
of
through
one
all the
just now.
stats and what stats are
Mhm.
good. What are we looking for? I think um, there. I don't think there's enough uh, public maybe now there's more publicly available knowledge. I think at the time as to like what stats you wanted,
Yeah.
what stats
Yeah,
were
yeah.
good, what are we looking for? I think it was kind of a crap shot. Just is it a good game? I think is what everyone was kind of
Well,
looking for.
yeah, well, there is a lot better available information now with the benchmarks and all that. But I just came out of a stats meeting for a pretty successful game that I'm advising, and I spent about 2.5 hours last night going through the dashboards, and I looked at something that I actually had never looked at before, which is funnel. But then I sorted funnel by platform. And I was like, wow, like, because I had some concerns about user interface design between mobile and PC. And I sorted funnel by platform and I found, wow, PC has 20% higher funnel completion rate relative to mobile. And now that might be obvious because mobile players have shorter session lengths, so they're more less likely to complete the funnel, or but that actually didn't end up being the case because the funnel completion steps where the fall off were at the end of the funnel. So if it was a session length issue, they would have been closer to the beginning of the funnel or more evenly distributed, I thought. And so, I think there is much richer data set to work with now on Roblox, and it's so interesting and fun to work with it. But I didn't. It makes me happy, just what you said. Very happy because, as you know, I care very much about process. I care about doing things properly. I care about logic. I care about doing things logically. I got to tell you guys, it really matters to me on a fundamental level. Whether it makes more money or it doesn't make more money, I don't care. I need to do things by process and I need to do things logically. It's just the way I am built. And so to hear that you had a chance to absorb and see and mirror some of those processes that we built for the producers at GameFam and that those have helped you on ERLC, Sam, thank you for sharing that. It really means a lot and makes me really happy to hear. So as you look ahead now on ERLC, what do you want to see the game look like a year from now? Where do you want to take this product and this community? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, so firstly, the game has a lot of room to grow. Ultimately, what we want is for it to be more. What I want, or what I think would be very cool, is to see like our map get much larger, and that's something we're actually working on. If you check our Twitter, we've been posting a bunch of teasers for that. But have a much larger map, being able to support more players in our servers. Right now, we increased it from 40 to 50 players, and we'd like to get it to 60.
Wow.
But did
you see a change in metrics? Did that work? Did you notice any change in metrics from going up to 50, or just something that's more kind of, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure?
I don't think we really saw any major change in stats.
Yeah.
We saw performance go down, obviously.
Okay.
And so,
okay.
So we're doing this all in anticipation of when we make the map bigger. We're gonna have to increase the player count so the game doesn't feel empty. Right. And so we decided why not do it now, and work out the kinks before we do it on a big drop. So that's what we've been working on. The problem is that with these, like, Roblox supports up to, how many players can you have in a game?
I think you can have 100, 200. Someone says 200.
Is it 200? Is 200 the max? Are there any games that actually have 200 players in a server that run?
I don't know of any personally. I'm looking to the chat to see what we have here. But why is it important to make the map bigger from a product standpoint in ERLC? Why was that a priority for you?
We want players to be able to, say, for example, we want faster cars. Like, if we want a faster car, the car has to have places to go. If we want boats, we need a much larger portion of the map dedicated to water. And so, like a trucking job, we need to have places far and wide for you to drive between. Or we'd like to have that.
I think that's really interesting because vehicles are such an important pipeline for progression and monetization in these games. So I think that makes a ton of sense. And the map was limiting you. I mean, I think everyone knows the ERLC map is pretty, pretty cozy in that, there's a lot of action happening around the map. There's not a huge amount of expanses for big long drives and things like that. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And
any other big features? Any other big features you want to share that you're excited about? No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
We have a lot coming. We have a lot coming very soon. That we're working on. So we've been teasing on our Twitter, but we have a lot of really cool stuff coming that I'm super excited about. I think something that I can say is boats. We have boats coming, which I'm really, really pumped about. And we have some really cool tech coming for that. Something that I don't think is on Roblox anywhere right now. So
okay, all right,
it's gonna be very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to open it up for questions in a minute. I have one more question for Sam before we open it up for questions. And so just to kind of recap your journey, because I think it's a really interesting and I think exciting, inspiring journey from working on anti-cheat to starting programming to working at one of Roblox's bigger companies and learning more about process and production management and live ops management, to then joining one of Roblox's biggest and best RP communities and now being one of the leaders of that product and that roadmap. What, if you go back in time to when you were first learning to program, towards your end of your high school years, or really starting to get into front end programming, what would you tell yourself to have done differently? Or would you say, hey, I kind of, put one foot in front of the other, and no regrets, anything you would tell a younger you to do differently or quicker or less of?
Maybe I mean, not necessarily. I mean, maybe something along the lines of like not, or maybe like remaining not trying to be like a jack of all trades. I think there are a lot of developers trying to, or at least I was always trying to do a lot at once, and kind of just I've noticed like I get the most done when I'm locked in on one single thing. I'm not trying to make 4 games at the same time and splitting my time, splitting my energy, whatever. Focus on one thing. I feel like always tends to go very well, and just being able to drop a lot of the noise is very cool.
Yeah, that's great. I agree with that, by the way. It's definitely one of the things that I think is it's an easy trap to fall into on Roblox, to overscope yourself, right? Because there's so much FOMO. Like Roblox is like the ultimate like FOMO community, like you hear of a game popping off here. Oh, can I get a piece of that? Can I work on that? Can I invest in that? Can I, and I think that, if I look at my years at GameFam, there was certainly a period where we took on far too many projects to meet, in my opinion, goals that in the long run maybe didn't quite deliver what we were looking for from a business perspective. And I'm much more focused now post GameFam. I'm so much more selective in what I work on, what I invest in. And I'll tell you, I'm a lot happier. I sleep a lot better, and I actually think it's going to be a more productive next phase for me than it was. And I had a lot of productive years at GameFam, and I'm really proud of what we did there. But I still think that you can always learn, you can always do things better, and that's a great perspective to have. And so, thank you for sharing your journey and your excitement around what's coming up on ERLC. And now is the time when we bring people on the stage to ask their questions. Now, I just want to remind everybody about the rules. We have some rules we try to adhere to as a community. Number 1, no flexing, no drama. This is not the forum for that. This is a forum for supporting each other. I had a little bit of drama this week. I'm not going to talk about it. Let me be clear. I hate drama. I don't need a single piece or moment of it here in my life. All right. 2, 1 question per person. That's our rule. Let's all try to be respectful of the rule. Fantastic GIF. Thank you. And those are the rules. So supportive, and 1 question per person, and anything else goes. Bring it on, bring it up. Dennis and NC, put someone on the stage and let's talk Roblox. Let's talk developer life. Let's help each other out. All right. We've got returning guest, frequent guest of the show, AMRC. Oh, who coincidentally, the 3rd rule, no eating on camera.
Thank you, guys. AMRC, this is great. This is great to be here.
All right.
So, hold on 1 second. I am right here, though. But I will ask my question regardless while I'm still here. So, when starting out on Roblox, it's really, really cool to see where everybody comes from. Where do you think the best place of growth is for, getting to the top the fastest? Because, for me, I started out, I literally just played games with people. And then I was playing my favorite game, and then my friend, who is now the dev, was like, dude, this guy sucks. Let's get him on the dev team. And so now I'm here. where I am.
And
So you're
what
asking. Go ahead, Sam. Yeah.
no, and so what are you asking? Sorry.
So, where do you think starting out on Roblox for development should be? Or is there a set path that you should follow, or is it really just kind of follow what you wish at the time and then kind of roll with it and build what you want?
I don't think there's like there isn't. I don't think there's a tried and true 1000% this is going to work method for success. Like there are a lot of big games that are coming out now that are from developers you might know, but I think there are much more coming from people nobody knows or nobody knew up until now that are just making something fun. I think keeping up with the platform and all that is definitely useful, but I don't think I could tell you, oh, you should start here, and that would be your give you your best chance at being successful. I don't think I could give you any solid advice there.
Honestly,
All right,
I mean,
let
that
me,
makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Let me add to that. I think that there's a few things. There's so many different ways to become successful on Roblox, and the most important way, and Sam is a fantastic example of this, is just to keep doing it. Keep doing Roblox. It doesn't matter if you're a producer, you're a builder, you're a programmer, you're a business guy, a deal guy. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you stick with it. And secondarily, and another thing where Sam really shines is you build relationships along the way. You treat people right. You don't get into drama with people. You don't have cross interactions with people. You do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. You're accountable, you're reliable, and you're a pleasant person to work with who supports others and is positive. That is the number one thing you can do. Number two, within that, find the thing that you like to do because you know it's hard. You will become successful on Roblox if you grind long enough. You will. But it's hard. It can take a long time. Buckle in, like get ready for a ride. And so you better be doing something you like along the way or you're going to burn out. And a lot of people do leave the Roblox community after trying a game or two or three, and it's not for them. If it's for you, find the thing you love doing and keep doing it and keep treating people right, and success will find you. That is my
100%. I think I love treating my community and specifically my devs like they're people. If anybody saw the Patrick thing, that wasn't a one-time thing. I had to break out of it. That's what I had to do.
All right.
Kind of sucked.
All right. No airing specific situations here on the stream, but thank you for sharing, and thank you as always for coming up with your question. I hope that was helpful.
It was helpful. Joe, do you want to bust a move with me?
What is this? What is this thing that we always have to do? We have to. So the other thing I want to add, though, and thank you, AMRC. Before we bring up our next person, the other thing I want to add is that I think from a pure usefulness perspective, if you can program first and foremost, the thing is you can make a game on your own. And yes, you may need help on building. You may need help on producing and design and live ops eventually. But programming is the primary function for making a video game. You cannot make a game without programming, and you can make a game. Might not be a great game, but you can make a game without some of those other things. So if you say I have to pick one skill on Roblox to create a positive success outcome for myself, start. And I'm a producer. I don't code, okay? It's my great shame in life. I don't code. I produce, I design, I do live ops. I can do layouts, I can do economies, but I can't code. And coding, coding is king, all right? Okay, who do we got? We've got Darren Indigo. Hello.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Sam. Nice to meet you guys.
What's going on? Nice to meet you.
So guys, I work at Indigo. I don't have a specific question related to development, but I have some things to ask about the dev community. They like to spread rumors,
thing.
and they also, sorry.
You have one thing to ask. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, why are connections important while being a Roblox dev in order to get into these communities like even Game Tank?
You want to have as many your connections, not maybe not in the immediate sense, but as you if you're a new developer and you're making friends with a bunch of other new developers, you guys are all kind of on the same track, and you develop all your skills together, and you come up together to some extent. And you make other friends, connections, whatever along the way. I what I'm doing right now, even being here talking, I'm only doing because I made a connection here, made a connection there, and I definitely think that I I don't think I really could have done much of what I'm doing now without the help of friends along the way, just to ask for help, or friends coming to me with opportunities, or whatever. And so being able to meet someone, make friends with them, keep in touch with them, shoot them an opportunity when you can, ask them questions when you can, help them out when you can. I think always, it's kind of like you scratch my back, I scratch yours type of thing. Over time always tends to be helpful in some way, shape, or form, even if you just want someone to pop a question by.
You guys have heard people say this probably. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I mean, I think that there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of things about that that are not true. We all know people on this platform who all they have is relationships, and they're just trying to get a piece of this game and get a piece of that game. And, it actually works probably more than we'd like to see it work. But I think a lot of times that does burn out in the end. Money will always talk. That's true. But you know what is at least as important to money, and that I've seen be extremely valuable in my career, is trust. And that is what connections are really about at the end of the day, is being somebody who other people can trust to collaborate with, who can trust to do a
Definitely.
deal with, where the papers don't get signed the minute you do the deal, but the papers get signed a week later. Are you still going to honor the deal that you agreed to with that person? Trust is what helps business go. And there are people on this platform, there are companies on this platform that are not trustworthy, that are deeply untrustworthy, and they're a cancer on this platform. And that's just something that we all have to live with. And if they pay you enough money, go ahead and work with them, but they're awful. And I think that as you move forward in your career, Darren, are you someone that people can rely on and that people can trust, and who will do the right thing with the people you've gotten to know? And if you do that, good opportunities will come your way, because this is a growth business and good people are needed across every vector of this business right now.
Trust over anything.
All right.
Trust over anything, definitely. I mean, like, especially in a community like this, where everyone through a lot of time through proxy, but everyone kind of does know everyone, whether it's through directly or through a friend of a friend or whatever. Like I'll have someone reach out to me saying, hey, I want to hire this guy. I know you worked with him, 3 years ago. How was he? And I'm like, maybe I'll be like, oh, he was awesome. Hire him. Or no, we had a terrible experience, or whatever. This guy, did this, or he's just not not trustworthy, or he'll, like backstab you, or do whatever. I like, trust in your reputation in such an intimate community is so important. And so not just not being a sleazy guy definitely goes a long way.
Yeah, thank you. That's great, Sam. I appreciate everything you said and agree 100%. All right. Well, Darren, thank you for coming up on the stage with a great question there. Who is coming up next? What are we going to talk about? Let's get into it. Tank Talk, Sleeky Dev, a fellow I
Hello.
know very well.
Hey,
Someone I'm
hey,
yes.
hi
Go
Sam
ahead,
and Joe.
Sleeky.
I'm John, also from the LA area. I had a quick question to Sam, specifically regarding ERLC. As it is a social game, how has Roblox's recent and ongoing social feature restrictions and new implementations affected the game's performance? And then, as a build off, what advice would you give to developers building social based experiences in today's environment?
That's such a good question. So when I'm assuming you're really just talking about the age group stuff with chat.
Yeah.
So when they announced that, I had like a minor heart attack almost. But I think now when they have an API that it makes it at least somewhat workable. So it's not I think as big of a problem as I think we thought it would be. We definitely have an issue now. We definitely had a much larger issue where players just couldn't talk to one another. We have a game that we formed around kind of giving players like the backbone to build their own experience. And when players can't talk to one another, it really breaks the whole the house of cards falls. But being able to kind of take players and making sure that we prioritize sort or matchmaking by your age group for our private servers. We're very soon, and our next update are going to allow you to see how many players in each server you can talk to. That way, we can sort your server to make sure that you're not you pull someone over in game and you can't talk to them or whatever. But yeah, I think for someone building a social experience, I would maybe not over rely on chat and make sure that the game is sustainable without chat completely, or without having completely having being able to talk to one another, having some alternate means of communicating. I think Roblox is doing the like the pre-written chat messages. That'll be really awesome when that comes out. And then just prioritizing and doing everything you can to make sure that players get into servers with players that they can talk to. Because if you don't do that, then you're kind of fucked. You're kind of screwed all around.
Let me ask a follow up, actually, Sam, that I'd like to hear your question on. How much structured play do you recommend in a kind of crime RP style game versus just open sandbox, like in terms of missions and progression and things like that?
I think kind of having separate tracks where players, when they want to just free play, can free play, and when players want to go through some sort of structured progression, whatever, they can. I think especially when players first join the game, having some sort of structured something for them to go through, some first time experience that pulls them through the ropes of the game, and something that's trackable. A really difficult part about ERLC, or difficult thing that I think was much easier working on other games like a tycoon game or something like that, which is our funnels. On like a tycoon, we can track exactly which buttons you press, and we can see exactly where you drop off, and it's very easy to see. We have high churn on this button. Okay, well maybe it's too expensive or whatever. In ERLC, when you join the game, we have players that go and spawn a car. We have players that don't. We have players that go to a certain team. Players that go to other teams. Players that don't. We have players that join and then go to a private server. And then from there, if a civilian joins the game, they can spawn a car and they can go rob a bank, rob a jewelry store, go fishing, find their friends, go drive around. Those things are really, really hard to track. And so having just enough structure to the point where players have some sort of common objective at least when they first join the game, that we can track, so that we can tell where players are dropping off and where players tend to kind of hit choke points, is non-negotiable.
That's great. That's a great insight there. And I think if I'll suggest, if you haven't already thought of it, and you probably have, but a heat map of player quit states on the map for first-time players specifically. Just a hot idea that I had. So if you haven't done that, it could be helpful. Great. All right. Well, let's do one more question. Thank you, Sleeky, for the question. Hope you enjoyed hearing Sam's perspective on that. Who do we got? Bring up our final caller for the day. We've got Taxivaz. Taxivaz, welcome to the stream.
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, what's going on?
I had a question. What's the metric that really doesn't get talked about but has been the most useful for y'all?
I don't think there's necessarily a metric that doesn't get talked about that we really pay a lot of attention to our retention and our session length more than anything. That is, I think, that's really it. Our QPDR, like our playthrough rate, I think is definitely very important, especially for a game that we don't update weekly like some other games do. Our updates are larger, but they're spaced far apart. So yeah, definitely those. I don't think we have one. Joe might have one. I know Joe was talking about some metrics that he was looking at.
Man, I'm gonna tell you guys, Roblox, if you're listening, what the heck is up with PTR, man? Like, what are we supposed to do about this metric? Are we supposed to try 5 thumbnails every 3 days until one of them pops off? Are we supposed to keep players in game longer and fix the bounce rates? I cannot make heads or tails of the PTR metric. I have no clue what it means. It is apparently, according to Roblox, one of the most important metrics in the algorithm right now, but I have no idea how to impact it, because if I try 20 thumbnails and they all have the same PTR, what does that mean? I asked Claude this morning, actually someone I'm collaborating with asked Claude. I said, well, we have really good session length and really decent retention in this new game I've been working on, and terrible PTR. And what does that mean, though? How can PTR be bad and also our click-through rate on our ads is 3x our PTR rate from home reco? Like, what? How? Like, even Claude said, Claude's smart. He doesn't know everything. And he makes mistakes sometimes. You got to call him out when he makes mistakes. I try to be polite to Claude, because when the robots come to rule us, they're going to know, because they have a perfect memory of who was nice to them or not. So,
Definitely.
I never abuse. I'm always respectful towards my good buddies, Claude, Gemini, and even Chat. But I think that, well, Claude said, it's your home page is not converting, your description page, but the same thumbnail is there. So you click the thumbnail, you go to the home page, it's got the same thumbnail you just saw. It's a simple meme game. So I'm like, I don't know, does that even make sense? So none of it makes sense. That's a metric that the best thing that I've been able to do is just keep trying new thumbnails till you find one that pops off. It will deflate, it will come down, but at least you can pump it up for a little bit. Let me ask chat a question. Let me ask the chat a question on behalf of Taxivaz here. Anyone know how PTR works? Shout it out. If you don't, also just say no. Just say no, so I know I'm not alone in my total confusion. Give me 10% and I'll tell you. I'll give you, if you can tell me how to get PTR up to 3 or 4% on my games, I'll give you 10%. Absolutely. Come and talk to me, bud. So, all right. I think we've heard, okay, but let's talk about a metric that is very impactable, which is conversion. I've seen some things lately around conversion, and I'm not sure how much conversion matters to home reco or not, but I've seen some things around conversion that have really opened up my eyes to the way Roblox players want to spend their Robux, not just conversion, but overall revenue and revenue productivity per dev product. Low price points. I never believed in low price points on Roblox. At GameFam, I always made the teams put in the highest price points for everything because my belief is that Roblox players have Robux and they're going to just buy what they want with their Robux. Yes and no. High price points do work, okay? But low price points also, I say, oh, you're going to get 9 Robux for a purchase? How are you going to make money off a 9 Robux purchase? And yet the conversion rate can spike up to 3 or 4% off those 9 Robux purchases. And shockingly, with enough player liquidity, those purchases really can add up into meaningful revenue. And I was just really I was really surprised and happy to find out that new information myself. So I hope that was helpful.
Have you tried the managed pricing? Has anyone tried the managed pricing?
The optimized pricing?
Yeah, the price optimization.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of buns. I saw big improvements. I think it depends on the game probably and how, if your price points are like really out of whack, then it probably can make a really big difference. And if your price points are, pretty intuitively on track, it's probably not going to make a big difference. But, regional pricing, I think, can be a win as well in those, having lower prices in lower cost regions. I mean, it's a tried and true tactic from mobile free to play that, I believe works well on Roblox too. And I would encourage everyone to try it. Also runs regional optimization at the same time. Thank you. They go against.
Well, it seems difficult to track.
Okay.
It seems difficult to track how pricing or regional pricing would affect your game. Just like independently track how regional pricing affects your monetization.
You should be able to see it in your ARPDAO. If you were to break down your ARPDAO by country, and you turn regional pricing on, and you look 2 weeks later on a 30-day view, you should, in theory, see ARPDAO go up.
But you can't. Can you individually do that with the managed pricing? Because I thought it does. It's like an all-in-one. Roblox just manages your pricing.
I think with the managed pricing, you need to look at the total ARPDAO, and you need to do it to know for sure. You'd have to do it in a scientific fashion. You have to do it in a time where you've got stable ARPDAO. You're not adding new dev products. You're not adding new game passes, and you're not putting some new car in the game that everyone's going to buy. Look, at GameFam, we worked with a pricing optimization specialist firm for a while, and when you're doing weekly updates, it wasn't possible for them to tease out if their price optimizations were working or not, because ARPDAO is, it looks like a usage chart, right? On the weekends, it pops off when you do an update and you put new dev products in the game that you promote with that update. You're going to see a much higher ARPDAO. I mean, on some of the games at GameFam, we could see ARPDAOs 3 to 5x higher on Saturday than they were on Friday. Well, with that much noise in the system, how can you tell if a pricing optimization is going to make an impact? It's very difficult, I think, to tease that out. So, all right. Well, thank you for coming up, Taxavaz. Thank you for
that was very helpful.
All right, I'll take it. Well, we've come to the end of the stream. Sam,
beautiful.
Thank you for making time to spend with the Tank Talk community and myself.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And AMRC, Darren, Sleeky, and Taxavez, thank you for coming up. Dennis and NC, thank you guys for the running the server and to the Tank Talk community. Next week, I've got a huge dev scheduled. Let's confirm with them, and I'll announce it as soon as I confirm. Not any huger than Sam, but huge nonetheless. and from one of the top games on the platform. I'm hoping to bring on, but if not, we'll have another great guest or a great stream to discuss. So thank you guys for being the best and spending this time supporting each other. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.